Do you like look at the camera a lot, or
you can kind of honestly, it's very relaxed freestyle. So you can if you have something to say like yeah da 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 da. But if not, we can just converse and that kind of stuff.
Sounds good. Okay.
All right,
Glasses
bet.
are coming off.
Glasses are off. We're ready. You feel comfy? How's the chair?
Oh, it's really comfy.
Nice. Okay, cool. I was like, I want to get matching chairs, but it's a whole thing.
Yeah. Getting a set is like a lot.
It really is. I was on Facebook Marketplace for a little bit, and I was like, all right, where can I find 2 good ergonomic chairs? And they're like $200.
Like
is it really that?
Yeah.
And then Joe affirmed me. She was like, the chairs are very different, and I think I like it. And I was like, okay, that's fine then.
Yeah. There's this one podcast that I listened to. I forgot.
Oh,
I was like,
it's starting.
I was like, it sounds different in the headphones. So I was like, sorry.
What is going on?
Yeah. This other podcast, and it's like just like friends, and like the set is just like them in one of the guys' rooms, and I don't know, I like the homey feel.
Yeah. So. I eventually want to get a more maybe like a smaller table, or like maybe like a round table where it's kind of like, I don't know, that homey feel, has some plants around it and all that stuff. But I was like, all right, we got to start somewhere. Yeah,
I like it. And this?
Yeah, right? I was
fucking
like,
sick.
That makes sense.
Wait, am I allowed to curse?
Yes, yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. Okay. No worries. Well, all right. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Create Yourself podcast. Today, we have none other than Nicole, a.k.a. Solicole, a.k.a. Solicole & Co., a.k.a. What else do you go by?
I think that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. All right. Three, I feel like 3 is good.
Yeah.
Three
I think 4 would be excessive.
Yeah. If you were to have a 4th one, what would it be?
I think it'd be like completely different from my name. Like, we'll circle back.
Yeah.
We'll circle back to that.
Later on in the podcast, just get, I know what it is.
Yeah. Like completely make conversation and be like, oh,
gotta interrupt. Sidebar. I figured out the name, and this is what it is. Well, perfect. I appreciate you coming.
Thanks for having me.
I'm super excited to just dig into all the things that you do. You're actually like one of the very few people that I've seen who has been really embedded in the creative industry and have been just building some amazing things, collaborating with really cool brands.
Oh, thanks.
And so I'm really excited to talk to you. Go ahead and just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yes, so my name is Nicole, and a couple of things I do professionally. I'm a production assistant for an animation studio, and then kind of leading up to that, I've done a lot of illustration work, design work, character design specifically. I'd like to go into that one day. And recently, I did a clothing drop with Avocado. Shout out to Avocado. Yeah.
We're in Avocado. Shout out.
And I've just been making things and working with some really cool people, and
Man, that's super cool. So right now you're a production assistant, and how did you, I guess because you do character design and a lot of those other realms, how did you start? Like, how did you get into just being a creative, and then how did it like blossom from there?
So I've always drawn. Like, there hasn't really been like a moment in my life that I wasn't drawing. Being a production assistant though has nothing to do with being an artist, but I can go a little bit more into that later.
Sure.
And but like, I always grew up watching cartoons and watching like animated movies, and I didn't have any like siblings growing up. I still don't, but
they've not come into fruition.
Yeah, they haven't come to fruition. Still waiting. But
mom and dad.
Yeah, and so I spent a lot of my time like watching that stuff, and that was kind of my source of entertainment. And then I would like draw my favorite characters, and then eventually like I would make like myself insert like original characters.
Yo, that's
like,
cool.
Yeah, thanks.
What kind of shows?
I was really into Sailor Moon growing up.
Oh yeah.
And then Avatar is my favorite show of all time. And what else is there? I was just into like anime. I like made up like Pokemon.
Oh, that's freaking cool. I used to do that too.
Really?
Yeah, I used to love watching all the different evolutions of Pokemon, and I would just kind of just try to draw as many cool like little characters. That's how that was, but it used to be on just different lines of the paper. Aww. Like little characters.
Yeah.
But that's cool. And you used to draw like original characters to like insert yourself?
Yeah.
Did you do it in the style of those shows?
Yeah. I would.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
And I would be like, she has like water powers. And like, yeah. And she's super cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so, I mean, that would be a really cool thing to do. Have you ever thought about, well, I guess Avatar is not a thing anymore. It's Legend of Korra. Is that still going on?
Legend of Korra has been over since like 2016.
Dang, I am out of the loop. Are they coming
It's
out
like
with any other?
Yeah. And they just released a announcement for a new series for the Avatar after Korra.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, hit them up.
Actually, wait, when is this episode coming out?
Like 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay, I think the news will be public by then. But I actually just got a job offer to work at Avatar Studios as a production assistant.
No way.
I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I just like blew the mic. But yeah, no, I can't believe
Congrats.
it either.
What the heck?
Thank you.
Oh my God. That's
Yeah,
so cool.
I haven't announced it publicly, but it'll probably be public by the time
If not, we can always push it back
Yeah.
if we need to. But, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Thank you.
How was that process?
It was actually like really long for whatever reason. But because I actually interviewed back in October. It's right now we're in January, and like basically I interviewed and it went really well. I think that like I got along with like all the interviewers really well, and I think that they liked me. And
Yeah.
but I didn't hear for a really long time. And
Was
then
it just one set of interviews or was it like multiple?
usually it's like multiple interviews, but like with every studio it's been different. So I currently work at Skydance, and it was like just like 2 rounds of interviews.
I see.
Yeah. And with Avatar Studios, I actually reached out to a recruiter first, being like, hey, like I heard that Avatar Studios is hiring and for a PA, and like I just want to like give you my resume and all that stuff. And like I didn't hear back for a really long time, and that's usually how it is like in the industry. You kind of
Right.
just like shoot your shot professionally.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of like wait on a response, or you don't hear back, and that's just how it is.
Right.
But she actually just reached out. She was like, "Thanks for reaching out on LinkedIn. Get a LinkedIn."
Yeah, true. LinkedIn. I think a lot of people don't really see the value in LinkedIn if they're not like in business or corporate,
Yeah.
but it's really useful.
It's really useful. Like that's where you find recruiters. That's where you find people that like work in the industry that you want to be in, and like that's how I've made my connections personally. Like if it weren't for LinkedIn, I don't think I'd be where I am today.
Wow.
Yeah, because like it was kind of just a snowball effect. Like I attended a lot of lectures on like working in the animation industry, and there was actually this one girl who said something that really resonated with me, and I connected with her on LinkedIn, and then from there it kind of like snowballed. She introduced me to somebody else, and
Wow.
then that person introduced me to Asians in Animation, which is
Oh.
a nonprofit. I think they're officially a nonprofit now, organization
Wow.
that for Asian and non-Asian people to join, but specifically to uplift Asian voices in the animation industry.
Wow.
Yeah, and from there, I connected with a lot of cool people, and then got to do like some cool events, and then that's how I got to where I am today.
Yeah, no, that's so awesome that it's just, I think really putting yourself out there is very difficult to do as a creative. I think sometimes we want to have like some good portfolio pieces, but then it's like, what do we do from there? You know,
Yeah.
how do we reach out? But that's a really good tip, right? Like going to little events or organizations that really resonate with you, and then you can connect, and then from there just get new opportunities.
Yeah, it's like a lot of if anybody's interested in entering the animation industry,
Yeah.
specifically for production, a lot of it is networking and like getting to talk to the right people, and like really like setting your intentions and being like, I really want to break into the animation industry, and not everybody's willing to take a chance on you, but once you like break in, that's whenever you really get like those opportunities.
Absolutely. And I feel like those opportunities are better because I read somewhere or I watched a video and it said that companies that want to invest in people because of you and your values and, you know, the potential that you have, you're always going to find so much like more fruit out of that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Then if they're just like, we want you to fit A, B, C, and D, and you go in there and you fit all that, but you're really not going to learn that much because you already have all the skill sets you need.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to have that little bit of a gap. And that's really cool. So as a production assistant, right? What do you do for for every day?
So as a production assistant, I mainly serve as a support to artists, and I'm specifically story and edit, but I help out in the art department as well. So usually a feature will have several production assistants, like depending. It was me and one other person for a while. Yeah, and basically like for me specifically, I would go to story meetings with the director, and essentially the story artist would be presenting their storyboards for the sequence that they were assigned, and then I would be taking notes for any changes that need to be made, any assets that any of the artists need, basically just like being a support to those artists and kind of like helping out with documentation and just making sure that everything is kind of going smoothly. Think of like whenever you're watching a movie and like that assistant that's kind of like running all over the place to get things, like that's kind of what I do. Yeah,
that's super cool.
Yeah.
And you get to really be around a lot of those creative, like minded people.
Yeah.
How was that like?
It's actually really cool. Like it's a little like hard to wrap my head around because I work with so many people that made movies that I grew up with.
Wow.
Yeah, like one of the story artists, I think, like animated parts of Brother Bear. Yeah, and one of the
goodness,
yeah, right,
that is crazy,
right? And then one of the heads of story, she worked on Moana, Raya,
wow,
and a couple of people worked on Tangled. The director that I work with right now, he was the co-director of Tangled.
What the
Yeah,
heck?
yeah, I know. It's just
You're
like
in there.
I know. It's like crazy because you're like, wow, these people like worked on like some of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, and now you're freaking going to Avatar Studios.
Yeah.
Like, how crazy is that?
I know. I was like, literally the recruiter gave me the offer, and I didn't process it at the time, so I was just like, really? Like
You're being serious.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
I was
It's
like,
just yes.
be so real right now. Like
Please don't mess with me. There's no ifs and buts after this, right?
yeah. So yeah.
Wow. When do you start?
I start in February.
Wow. That's freaking exciting. And so
Yeah.
you're gonna work with your current company and then do like a 2-week notice type thing?
Yeah.
Really cool.
Essentially, yeah.
Wow. Well, congrats on that. That's
Thank you.
freaking exciting. And so how do you do that? Because you do a lot of stuff on the side. Like you have like kind of your own side business with Silicon & Co. And you're also a production assistant, or you've been a production assistant. How do you balance kind of being, it's almost like freelance, right? Is that what you would kind of say, like freelance and working a full-time job?
I would say like it's pretty nice like having a structured like 9 to 5 like Monday to Friday job where I can just kind of dedicate the weekends to my side business and all that stuff. Yeah. And kind of balancing that, like it was kind of overwhelming at first, but
sure.
I think I've gotten the hang of it so far. At least I'd like to think so.
Right.
But yeah.
What kind of tools do you use to organize yourself?
I use a lot of Google Calendar.
That's Google Calendar. Like the whole Google ecosystem is so good.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, what do I have to do today? And like,
So is that what you do? You make like a lot of tasks and lists and Google calendars and stuff like that?
yeah. And like, I've also found it really helpful to like write things down physically. Yeah, because I think we can get really like caught up in like our phones, but like, I tend to remember that I have to do something a lot better if I like write it down.
And especially to touch on that subject, but like, I guess digital versus like on paper. Do you still draw on paper, or are you mostly all digital?
I will sketch out on paper like a really rough idea, but I won't like. I haven't like done like a physical drawing in so long. I think it's been like years actually, but like to sketch out like an initial concept, I think it's a lot easier to do it on paper. Cause I don't know if any of y'all use Procreate. Oh yeah. But like you have to like make a new canvas and like and then you have to like set the dimensions and all that stuff. So I like doing it like physically first, just to like kind of like roughly put it on paper and then like do like more refined details. On
we're just running around.
yeah, I
doing
know.
stuff.
So
Yeah,
cute.
that's super. And so, do you take a picture of like your sketch and then you put it into Procreate and then you kind of go over it digitally?
No, actually. Yeah, I just like want to visualize it first and then I resketch it on.
Wow.
Yeah, cuz like it doesn't always like translate well. So, I think it's just like I need to like get it out of my head first
Right.
and then
Put the idea to paper.
Yeah.
And then kind of work. That's
Yeah.
your process. You would say is kind of sketch out on paper, get the idea out, and then go to Procreate, and then just start working on it from there.
yeah.
Really cool. Do you use any other, I guess, tools other than Procreate?
Yeah, I use Illustrator. I think Illustrator is the best for like designs and stuff to well, that was like the industry standard for my previous product design job. And it really helps for getting like the specific Pantones that you want. And it's what typically manufacturers want whenever you're sending over designs to them so that they don't have to like vectorize it themselves.
Oh, okay, I see. And vectorize, okay. I've messed with it before. That's whenever you can like zoom in and it's like still super good quality, right?
Yeah. So the difference between like a design 101.
Yeah. Teach me.
But like basically usually like when you have like a PNG or a JPEG, that's a rasterized image. And so if you make it like bigger and bigger, it's like going to get more and more pixelated.
Right.
And then with a vector, you can make it as big or as small as you want, and it's not going to lose detail. And also it helps whenever like, so your manufacturer like needs to like cut a vinyl for your design. Like the vector, like whatever machine they're using to cut that vinyl, like it will read it better if it's a vector.
That makes a lot of sense. And obviously you can blow it up super huge or super small,
Yeah.
whatever you need it to be. Okay, that's really cool. And so I want to talk about your collaboration with Avocado.
Yeah.
Because that was super cool. We copped some stuff, so I'm super excited for
Oh,
it.
thanks. Appreciate it.
But yeah, we've always been a huge fan of Avocado. They're super nice. Actually, whenever we did our clothing brand for apparel, we reached out to them and we had a conversation, just kind of talked about the process, and he gave us some really good tips. But how did that even come about?
Like my first collab with them, or yeah. Also, that's super nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
like Avocado, like they're so willing to like talk to people, which is like crazy because
They're
usually
awesome.
like brands are kind of like faceless, a little bit like it's kind of a mystery, but like
Right.
they're like so willing to like talk to people, and it's crazy. They're so nice.
They really are.
But it actually happened. I did like a little fun drawing, like if Jollibee came out with like a streetwear line, and because I just thought like that would be fun. Their uniforms are cute, so I was like, I kind of want to wear it, but like,
Yeah.
like in like streetwear form.
Right.
And then I actually looked at like Avocado stuff at the time, like as inspiration, and then
That's so cool.
oh, thanks. And then I posted it, and then I tagged them. I was just like, oh, like inspo, like Avocado, and like I think like Nike or something.
Yeah.
And then they messaged me, and they really liked it because it did really well on TikTok, and then on Insta too. And then they reached out to me, and they were like, we really like that, and like we want to collab with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they reached out to you, and then I don't know if you're, I don't know if we want to talk about that necessarily, but is there, or I don't know if you can talk about this, but what does that look like working with a brand, you know, as an independent artist? How do you talk about pricing? How do you talk about terms? I mean, like, you're also collaborating with your own design, so how far can they use that? Like, what's the status or standard on that?
So I'm not too sure how it is for like everybody else, but at least in mine and Avocado's case, we kind of just like we like bounce off ideas off of each other, like with every collaboration, and then I kind of send them some of my sketches and like what I'm thinking, and then they'll put their input as well. And then me and Arvin, who's the designer for Avocado, will like design like certain pieces for the collab. And then when it comes to pricing, it kind of just depends on, like usually like I'll get around 30 to 40% because like I'm not the one handling like manufacturing and they do the shipping. So
that's nice.
Yeah. I do the shipping for like Solo Co, and like it's a stressful process. So like I don't mind being less than half, you know, like sure. And obviously we're doing most of the advertising like on their account and stuff because like they've blown up so much.
They really they really have.
Yeah, and I was super proud of them. Like they really deserve it. Like they work so hard, and I'm really proud to see them because like even though our collabs like are like once a year, like I'm in like not like constant contact, like texting them every day, but like, you know, like every once like if I post something that like that's like good that happened in my life, like they'll congratulate me.
Oh, that's,
you know, like
they're so cool.
They're
very
super cool,
kind-hearted people.
Yeah, and like they have like the best intentions. Like they just really like they're really so about the culture. Like
yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
So talk about that a little bit because a lot of your page is Filipino inspired art.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to see that a lot of your characters are Filipino or Filipina, and I mean Abacada is a Filipino brand. So talk a little bit about like what that means to you and why you incorporate it so much in your art.
So growing up, like since I was born and raised in the US, I didn't really get the chance to be that connected to being Filipino, and I kind of like got made fun of for being like, oh, like you're whitewashed or whatever, and like I'm like, that's not really my fault, and I'm trying my best, and like, you know, I would try to like learn Tagalog and what I but then I'd get made fun of like for my pronunciation.
For sure. I feel that.
Yeah. And I wanted to start making like Filipino art because like I wanted to start like connecting to my culture like on my own terms and in my own way, and like kind of finding a community through that. Like I grew up like reading Percy Jackson and stuff. Like I love Percy Jackson. So it's the only book series like I've read in full.
Yeah. No, same.
Yeah.
It's so encapsulating.
Yeah, I know. I love it, but I really love like mythology and like fantasy stuff. And like I thought to myself, I was like, oh, like is there like Filipino mythology and stuff? And then like I started researching it, and then there was, and I really liked the stories. Like I could really picture them in my head, and so I really wanted to bring that to life with my art. And you know, like I found so many like cool friends and supporters like through that, and so yeah, making Filipino art, like it means a lot to me. Sometimes I do get a little insecure about it because I'm like, this is the only reason why people want to follow me, or like, you know, or like, I don't know. I used to see like a couple of like subtweets being like, films are so cringy, and like,
really?
Yeah, like, and I was like, are they talking about me? And like they'd be like, films are so cringy, and they just like they want to do what's trendy and stuff like that. And I try to like not let that affect me now. Sure. I deleted Twitter. But yeah. But yeah, because it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
With I'm so sorry, I'm like not really answering the question.
No, you are.
Like with making Filipino art, because like with Filipinos, at least like online, they can be some of the best supporters. Like they like literally, like they are like ride or dies, like, and they're so nice to you, and they'll say the sweetest things. But if they don't like you, like they really don't like you. Like like they'll like tweet about you, and like they'll.
It's a very passionate community.
Yeah, like that's like the best way to put it, is that like when they feel something, they feel it hard. Yeah. So thankfully it's like mostly like positives.
Right. But that's so cool that was your connection towards your culture. You know what I'm saying? Because I think for a while that's something that I've thought about a lot, because being half Vietnamese and then, you know, my dad being, you know, just working a lot, my mom raising me, and I didn't have my grandparents around on my dad's side. So for me, I didn't really have an opportunity to learn Vietnamese, to get like super acclimated to the culture, other than family gatherings and that kind of stuff, where I did kind of feel a little bit like
Othered.
I'm definitely different because, everyone's talking Vietnamese. I don't know Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Everyone's super accustomed to all the food. I'm not. And I always wondered, what can I do to connect to my culture, but that feels good to me? To kind of honor that.
Yeah.
And that's amazing that you combined your passion with art and also like mythology and just kind of made it all one and really found that connection there.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's super cool. And so I know you're also into a lot of like sticker stuff with you did a lot of Filipino foods and stuff like that. Obviously you did the little ube plushie, which we'll put like a little picture of it right here. It's so cute. How was that process?
Making the plushie or awful. Making a plushie is like literally the worst thing
Really?
ever. Yeah, because you're like, okay, this is gonna be easy. And I had some experience making plushies for my product design job because like we would do like a lot of plushies for different YouTubers and stuff like that. So I kind of had an idea, but the thing is that I never handled the manufacturers. Like I just did the designs and like was done with it. So making a plushie myself and working with a manufacturer was bad. But
How come?
it's because like, so I'll send the design over, right? And then they're like, is this it? And it's like completely off. And then you have to like explain in detail, like, no, I don't want that. And I want it to be shaped like this. Like the Halo Halo plushie, like at first, like for some reason, like they couldn't get the head round. Yeah, like
They made it like kind of like too boxy.
it was like a trapezoid. Like, and I was like, I kind of or like a triangle, and then I was like, I really want, like I want it to look like an ice cream scoop, like all that stuff, and like getting the right colors, and you have to like really like you have to give them like specific Pantones and all that.
Wow.
And be like, I want it to feel like this, I want it to like look like this, and like at one point the face was kind of off, and so
there's like a lot of details that go into making sure that they understand, because you can have an idea in your mind and you're like, okay, this should be it. It's very simple. Here's how it should look.
Yeah.
Everything's good. And then they bring it back to you and you're like, this is not anything like what I said.
I know. I was like, what? Like, like you have to draw the plushie at like every angle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, whenever I was doing, like any plushie that I was designing, I would have to do like both sides, the top, the bottom, the front, and the back.
Wow.
And and then you have to be like, this is where the tag goes. Like, it's like making a plushie, like there's like details that you like wouldn't have thought of.
For sure.
Or like you wouldn't think that you have to like, I don't know, like type it down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And it's just so tedious.
Yeah,
so
it seems like it.
Yeah, and then
the product came out amazing.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, but it takes like months for them to like finish, and then I had like a lot of emails, and I think that's also the thing about running a business is that you have to like do customer service yourself.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, is it like it would just be answering over and over like, I'm sorry, like because once you submit it to the manufacturer and they give you an estimate, like all you can say is like, this is the estimate, like whenever it's gonna come out. And my plushies, my plushies were pushed back by like months, and then I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And a lot of things are out of your control, and I think that's like the most frustrating part about the process.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting because there's a lot, like there's so much that goes into, creating plushies, creating stickers, having a store, doing the customer service, doing the designs, all this kind of stuff. What keeps you wanting to continue pursuing this? What would you got? Like just business?
I think it's like seeing people post it. Like they'll be like, I love seeing like my sticker on people's like water bottles. I think it's like so cute, and like I'm like, oh my god, you like put like a little like you like save a little spot for like my art. Like that's like I think it's I think what like makes art worth it is just to see people's reactions to it and to see people interact with it. And like I love seeing like my plushie like on people's beds, like in their like little plushie collection, and like people would tell me like, oh,
hey Google, stop. Continue. Yeah.
oh, okay, and like seeing like the plushie on like yeah, like on their stories and stuff like that, and like they'll like message me and be like, oh, like this, like I like love this plushie, it's like my favorite. And like I think that's what makes it like worth it to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, like because to be honest, like it's not that lucrative. Like I like, to be quite frank, but
that's good to know.
Yeah, I know, like people are like, oh, are you making a lot? No, I'm not.
You're like, not off this dang plushie.
No, like all this effort and for this,
Yeah.
like it's like I hope you're hungry for nothing. Like yeah, it's like it's a lot of effort, but it is I think just like seeing other people to enjoy your art is the biggest, or not to be like that's the biggest reward for me, but like you know, like
it is, definitely.
If I was doing it just for the money, I would oh, is the
Oh, did it turn off?
I think so.
Oh, okay. All right, we're back.
And wait, I'm trying to like remember what I was saying.
Plushies not being super lucrative.
Oh yeah. If I did this just for the money, I would not have a home. I would, and I could not support my dog. So
yeah,
that's the most important thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's something that I really wanted to touch on as well. Being a independent, you know, artist and having your own freelance business on the side, do you think that it's really important to have kind of like a stable 9-to-5 to support that?
100%. Yeah. Like, I don't make the most being a production assistant, but it's a stable job, and it's like provided me with like being able to support myself.
Right.
But like, say with like every drop that I've done, like with Solical & Co., not with Avocado, but with Solical & Co., like all that effort for like months is like the equivalent to like one of my paychecks.
Wow.
Yeah. So
wow.
yeah, it's like I know some like artists that are like who have like thousands and thousands of followers have talked about it too. Like your amount of followers and your engagement on social media doesn't exactly equate to like how much money you're making in real life. Yeah.
That's so interesting to think about too. I mean, what would you, because I think there's probably a good amount of people out there who have built, you know, these brands that can sustain them. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you want to do in the future, or are you like, well, I kind of want to go a different direction, but I always want to have this on the side?
Yeah, the latter. Mm-hmm. I definitely like, for my business, I really love it, but I don't want it to be like the sustaining, flow of income for me, because it is like, it is pretty inconsistent, and it's not like you're taking a chance essentially with every single drop, and I really like working like in an animation studio because like I'm contributing to like an animated film being made.
Right.
Yeah. So like that's what I've always wanted to pursue. And I really like having my business, and it's something that like I really want to have for like a long time, but mostly like as a side thing.
Right. Well, I think that's cool too, because it lets you really be passionate about the things that you do drop.
Yeah.
So it's like when you have something that you want to put out there into the world, it's not like, oh, I have to get this out, otherwise like I can't pay my bills. It's like you can kind of feel stress free. If it takes a while longer to do stuff, it feels better. And then you have that steady flow of income, which it's cool because it's still within the creative industry, and so you're still able to really just kind of scratch that itch as well.
Yeah.
And so you're a production assistant, and then you're going to be a production assistant for Avatar Studios, which is so cool. What do you feel like, are you trying to go into a direction of character design, like being like your main goal, or are you wanting to sit in being a product assistant for a bit longer, or production assistant?
I would like to be a production assistant for a little bit longer, or like for a year or so more, and then eventually move up to being a production coordinator. And then I would like to be a character designer one day, but I don't know, like it's really weird feeling like your dreams change, because like I thought character designer was like what I wanted, like and like the only thing I'd ever want to do. But I actually watched this TikTok from this recruiter from Netflix Animation, and she talks about how you should like kind of sit with yourself and like question like if you want to do like a creative role, like being a storyboard artist or a character designer, do you want to like make like do you just really like drawing, or do you think that you could fulfill somebody else's creative vision? Because being a character designer on a film, you're not like making characters that like you're wanting to make necessarily, like you're fulfilling the director's creative vision. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't take into consideration, and something that I didn't really sit with myself about until like literally recently. And like I think of like some shows like I would hate to be a character designer on, like I don't know, something like Big Mouth, something ugly. Yeah. Big Mouth is funny, but it's ugly.
But the character design, I mean, for some people it's cool, but you know.
Yeah.
Like, I get what you're saying.
Adult animation usually it's like a hit or miss.
Right.
Yeah. And so I really like being in production because it allows me to still witness the process and be a part of it without having to be creatively drained. Because also something that I've like learned about myself is that it like takes a toll on me if I force creativity, and when I force like making myself draw, because then I face like this really heavy like burnout afterwards, whereas like with production I've like never felt burnout.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I just like, because I'm essentially just like a support,
right, and
I objectively know I'm doing a good job with production, whereas like when you're a creative, you could like literally thousands of people could tell you're doing a great job, and you could be like,
oh, that's 100%.
Yeah. And like you could be like, nah, I think I'm still trash.
I still got so much work to do, or like it's not as great as I wanted it to be.
Yeah. You're like oh, like it's just like I feel like I could have done better.
Yeah,
like,
always.
Yeah, like something could be so successful, and then you're just like like
you know that one detail, that one thing that really bothers you that nobody else sees, but you see it, and forever you're just like, I wish I would have did that. It's fine. I gotta move on.
I know. And like just like like evolving as a creative, like, and then you look at your old art, you're like,
yeah, right.
But like somebody else really likes it, and I think that's like what's so weird about being an artist, and
and so as an artist, I think you mentioned a couple of times too, you know, obviously if you look on Twitter, you look in all these places, and there's a lot of, there could be some negativity towards maybe some of the stuff that you do, or whatever that might be. How do you kind of set yourself aside from your work, like your identity or your who you are?
I'm still trying to figure that out, because like it's really I personally don't think it's possible to completely separate art from artist. And kind of going off tangent from your question,
for sure.
Whenever you're an artist online, you don't just create art, you're also like showcasing yourself, your values. Like
that's a good point.
You can't exist just as like this like robot making art. Like you also have to like basically like show everyone also like what you value as a person. Like you are not just like posting yourself, like your art, you're posting like yourself as like as a person, or at least who people perceive you to be. And I think that's like the hardest part about it, because like sometimes you just want to post art and you want to let it out into the world and be done with it, but you also have to like essentially market yourself, and like that's it. I think that's the most tiring part about it.
No, I feel like that's the hardest thing as a creative, wanting to showcase your art or yourself, but sometimes it really is, you have to package it up in a way that people can understand it as well, especially if it's for the intention of sharing it. If it's something for yourself, then obviously like you're not sharing with anyone, you could just do it for yourself. But I think as an artist, and especially like being, having a business around, creativity, you want to put a lot of yourself into it.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes it, like you said, just like you feel like a person made it.
Yeah.
It's not like a robot or an AI made it, which
that's
an interesting topic too.
Oh my god.
Yeah, let's talk about this. This is a really interesting conversation. So obviously in the world, AI has been just kind of rising up in a billion different ways.
Yeah.
There's some really, it's kind of like a scary thing, but it's also I feel like nobody really truly understands it yet, and what impacts that it can make. But I know more recently there have been obviously apps out there and things that claim to be AI, but they're not necessarily the AI. They just copy other people's art.
Yes. Yeah.
But what's your take on all of it?
I hate AI. I hate it so much, and I hate AI art. And I understand the interest in it from, especially like from non-artists and like people who don't like draw. Like I get it. Like, ooh, I uploaded like a picture of myself, and now I can see myself in so many cool different ways. But with a lot of AI programs, they take already pre-existing art and art from artists who cannot consent to having their art like being altered to make these images, and like the AI program will like take these artists' work and then like morph it into something, and then people are like, oh, this is like a really cool drawing this computer made, and it's like, no, it's a compilation of people who are not consenting to their art being taken.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what would be, because I've been trying to think about it a lot, right? Because obviously this stuff is probably not going away, right? I if anything, it might get a little bit bigger, but I think what will happen is there'll be some kind of regulations on it, or some rules that they have to follow. What do you feel like would be an ideal solution if AI continues to grow, and like how can it credit artists? Like what would be your ideal solution if you have one?
Well, my ideal solution would be for it to not exist.
Yeah, right.
But in the case like if it like just it couldn't go away, is for them to only use images for artists who are being compensated and are consenting to their work being like essentially being remolded.
Right.
But a lot of AI programs use dead artists' work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So they cannot consent and they cannot be compensated.
Right.
So, but I think just in an ideal world, like it would be like they only use the works of artists who sign up for that and are getting paid their money's worth.
That would actually be really interesting to as an artist, you can sign up and say, hey, this is my style or whatever it is. And they're like, okay, well, we can use your art in a bunch of different ways. And if someone generates this art, we'll make sure to give you some type of royalty from it or something like that. But I also think it's interesting too, because a lot of these apps, some of them are free. Yeah. Which is then like,
yeah, but a lot of like apps are like free, but they do like profit off of like getting data, and then they sell that data.
That's true. Yeah,
that's how like a lot of free things like make money.
Right. That's a really good point. Yeah, because as soon as you sign up for the app, they say, hey, you have to allow this to happen.
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah,
and just allow it.
No, that's me. And like, that's how they're making like their money. So they're still profiting off of you, whether you know it or not.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. And so, I think it's the whole AI thing is super interesting to think about. And I know there are some programs out there that they make original art, like they don't take pre-existing styles from artists. They like kind of create their own, like you've never seen it before. How do you feel about that style of AI?
How is it creating like art?
So from what I've like read or seen, what it does, it says, for example, what the AI did was take say a tiger, and it scans the internet for like real pictures or a bunch of pictures of tigers, and say it has like 5,000 in its database. and then you say, make me a tiger. So based on all the reference points, like the nose that tigers typically have, what the facial features is, it makes like a completely different style, or just maybe like a bunch of little small components all like morphed together, right? That looks like an original tiger. Like you couldn't find something that looks slightly resembled to it. How would you feel about that?
I still think that it's using images like probably like from photographers too, like photographers taking a picture of a tiger, and then those elements like not really being credited to those photographers. So like nothing is like truly generated like from a computer.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, like if something ever is, like I'll eat my words, but
Right.
like so far from what I've seen is like it always takes components from people who have like created something.
That's a really good. I actually didn't even think about photographers too.
Yeah.
Right. Like taking those reference points from people who take pictures,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because those people also should be compensated for that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's the hard part about the internet, because
Yes.
it's like, how do you monetize the work that you do as an artist?
Mm-hmm.
And especially because if people, I always think about this too, like say people just like screenshot it
Yeah.
and then just use it as their background or something like that. You know, it's an interesting thing to think, how can you regulate that?
Yeah. Kind of. I was actually talking about this with one of my cousins earlier. Once you like release something like out into the world, like once you release art, like it's essentially no longer yours. Like obviously, like you own like intellectual property over it and all that stuff, but like once like people like in the internet like have their hands on it, like it's literally just like in their grasp. And yeah, it's kind of like a hard it's a hard thing to regulate. People have made my art like their background before, which I don't mind because they're
Right.
not profiting off of it and they're just enjoying my art. So
Yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
pretty nice.
Yeah.
I'm like, aw.
It's more so if they like try to profit on
Yeah.
it in some way, or like,
Yeah.
you know, take it and not credit you or in
Yeah.
any way. Yeah.
If somebody's like trying to like, I don't know. I've seen like my stuff like reposted on Pinterest before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
I
then no
was like,
credits to you or anything?
No, and I
Yeah.
was like, well,
Yeah.
I don't feel like pursuing this.
Right, right.
Like, I'm like, there it is.
Yeah, that's always interesting. I mean, that's a side of
Mm-hmm.
the creative world and as being an artist that a lot of people don't see,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you put a lot of passion, a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of hours into this, and to see it somewhere, it's like it's cool because someone took it and was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing."
Yeah.
But also, you're like, "Hey, you
Yeah.
can't just take that.
Yeah.
You know, you should probably credit somebody. I mean, you should, right?" But I think that's something that hopefully people start understanding more over time.
Yeah.
Because the creative industry is slowly starting to get, I mean, it's been very popular, but I think a lot of light is being shed on the workings of a creative.
Yeah.
And how much they truly make an impact just in this world in general.
Yeah, I agree. There's like so much more I think access to artists. Before it used to be something that was like so gate kept.
Yeah.
And like something that you would have to like legitimately like go to college to learn anything about art, or like, you know, like there
That's
wasn't
so true.
there weren't resources online like a decade ago,
Yeah.
you know, and you would like have to go to art school, but like you could literally just become an artist by like just like searching up a tutorial online.
Right. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's crazy I mean, there's so much out there on the internet that you can do now, but I think obviously the difference is just having structure too, right? Because like right now I'm learning how to code, but if I didn't,
my God,
but
good
if I
luck.
didn't pay for a boot camp, I could
Yeah.
not be just doing this like free reign, like no, like on my own time. Like I
Yeah.
have to be in a structured program, otherwise it's really hard. But I think that's also why creatives and people who like you who have done such great work already, like you've built such a great foundation, and now that you're done with the foundation, you can kind of just expand and explore and kind of make whatever you want.
Yeah.
What would you say, or, I mean, what kind of advice would you give somebody who wants to get into like character design, digital art, or any of that kind of stuff?
I think the best thing to get started is like actually just like making fan art like of things that you like, because that's kind of how I learned to draw. Like I grew up like basically just like copying, obviously don't copy and then like, claim things as your own. But
Right.
like when you like copy an art style, like you find what you like to draw and you kind of find like what are your strengths, and then that's how you kind of build an original style from there.
Right.
Like I drew like a lot of like Avatar growing up, so that's kind of why my style like kind of looks like it.
Yeah.
And then like incorporate like the certain like details and techniques that I liked about making that fan art like into my art today. So
That's so cool. And I know you're always like crediting everything, like even with avocado, you're like, hey, inspired by avocado and Nike, which is really cool. And I think that is a really cool way. And that's kind of how you even started just getting into art in general. It's just making, characters in shows and making yourself in there.
Yeah.
And then drawing that. And then over time, it's just evolved to something like so amazing. Like your style of art
thanks.
is so freaking cool.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And so what would be next for Soli Co. & Co.?
It's I'm still thinking about it. Right now, I'm actually working on keychain versions of my Halo Halo plushie. Yeah, because it's so far that's the most like sustainable thing for me to do. Because like full grown, full sized plushies like take months and months and months. Whereas like keychains are something that I can do and actually like buy in bulk myself, because like before I did pre-orders, because that's the only way you can like fund plushies unless you're rich.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Because like you have to do like pre-order stuff, because it's not like buying in bulk and then like what if it doesn't sell?
Right.
And then but like doing pre-orders, like the downsides to that is that like people have to wait for their stuff to come in.
Right.
So I really wanted this next drop with the keychains to like
already have it, so you can just ship it out
just
right
like
away.
ship it out, and people aren't waiting like half a year to receive their order. Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people don't understand. You have to, when you're doing this business, you have to buy all this stuff up front.
Yeah.
And that's like for apparel, that's why I had to stop doing apparel for a bit. And I want to bring it back, but the capital that you have to just put up front, it's a lot.
It is
like,
so much.
You got to save for that. And then, right, if it flops or you don't sell as much as you were hoping to, you have to do all the marketing for it, all that stuff. And by the time it's all said and done, it's really not that lucrative.
It's really not. Like, I cannot stress this enough. You don't make that much.
Yeah.
At least not from the beginning.
Right.
And then it would have to be like several years in, and like I even started this just because I didn't have a job during the pandemic and stuff like that. I used to work at ice cream shop, and they were like,
hey. And they're like, yeah, no one's getting ice cream.
yeah, no one's getting ice cream. And I wanted to pay for my summer school, and then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make some money. No, I literally just like almost just broke even, and then like kind of paid, just paid enough for my summer classes. So
dang. At least, hey, that's cool that you're able to do that.
Yeah.
I think there is a lot of stuff that goes into it, and obviously, the bigger your brand becomes, and the more popular your drops are, it can be lucrative, but it has to be on a large scale, or like the profit margins have to be extremely low or high. High profit. Yeah. But in order to do that, it's also really hard. You have to get even more in bulk, which costs even more money up front, and it's just a bunch of things that you have to think about and consider when doing it that not a lot of people think about. But I really appreciate you sharing that, because I think it's something that a lot of people can learn from. If somebody is trying to start a business as a side hobby, or maybe as their main thing, what is some advice that you'd give them?
So I think it's really important to also be realistic about
That's super important.
a lot of stuff. Like, don't buy a lot of supply and expect to sell out right away or something like that. I think something that I witnessed was a friend I'm not talking about you, by the way. I just like you're like, why is this wrong? Like no, like started an apparel brand, and they like made social media for it, but I did not know it was an apparel brand. Like it was like, I think they were trying to do something artsy. Right. But when you are first like introducing something to the world, like you can't be like vague about it.
Yeah,
and,
that's so true.
And like you have to be like, this is like a clothing brand. Like this is, I think it's also very important to have like a very specific mission or purpose.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like with Avocado, like they're very much for the culture and like very much about like representing Filipino culture and like kind of connecting Filipino communities and like incorporating, you know, like details of like their upbringing and like
Absolutely.
you know, like into their clothing, and like that's like a very clear like mission that they have. And for me it's pretty similar, like the stuff that I like and like, you know, like stuff from my culture, and like I really like Filipino food, so I did like a lot of stuff like surrounding that, because it's like something that I grew up with and like something that I'm pretty passionate about still today. And like making apparel and like plushies off of that stuff, like you have to be like clear, like that's like the direction that you want to go in. So like if you want to start a business, like you have to have a clear direction, and also like I know this sounds like bad, but like have like a little bit of a following.
For sure.
Like a little, like at least have an audience, you know, and your friends and family probably really great and like will support you. But like they can't be like your only supporters, you know.
You don't want to just keep
like,
hitting them up in the group chats.
Yeah,
like, hey guys.
Like, oh my God, I'd rather like throw up than like ask a friend to buy something from me.
I know.
You know, like just like that feels so icky.
I know.
And but yeah, like you have to make stuff that like will speak to people, like in a large scale, and like also just like let people know that it's like a clothing brand. Or,
be very
specific.
Yeah, Danny taught me that whenever we're building apparel, it's like, you know, it'd be like, okay, what's the mission? It's like, okay, here's the mission.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the vision for it, right? What's the mission, and then what's the vision? And communicating your brand to people, they have to understand, like as a consumer, they need to understand what the brand is and where it's going.
Yeah.
Right? That's why people follow a lot of brands, because they can see like, oh wow, this is cool. Oh, I like this too.
Yeah.
Oh, they said they were going to do that. You're growing with that brand. But if you put something out there that's too ambiguous and no one really knows anything about, it's not going to do super well. No matter how cool it is, if you don't market it the right way and you're not specific and focused, it's really hard for people to truly understand. Like you said, what is this? And if people are so quick on their phones, if you give them just a second of doubt of just, I don't know what this is, I have to go somewhere else to look at. Out of their mind.
Boom. Like, oh my gosh, people's attention span, like you have like 2 seconds to market something to somebody.
I think someone said, I forgot what it was. It was for like a movie or something like that. But they said, you know, if you can't explain it in 2 or 3 sentences, it's probably not the best idea, or there's still work to do to get it to be focused.
Yes. Yeah. There's actually a term for that. Like, I don't want to be so pretentious to be like in the industry. But like in the industry, in the industry, there's a thing called an elevator pitch.
Okay.
Yeah. Essentially, like the reason why it's called, if I'm wrong, that'll be really embarrassing. But I believe it's called an elevator pitch because it's something that's so short that's supposed to encapsulate everything like that project is about. But you are supposed to do it like within like the time that like you'd be in an elevator.
I've heard of that a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that it's something that people as creatives, I think what people need to come to terms with is that creativity and business are going to be intertwined.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of creatives, they don't want to do the business side. Like I know for me, I hate marketing. I hate doing all this stuff. Yeah. I hate having to put all this stuff together, but I love the act of doing it and I want to keep doing that. So business is just what I have to do in order to keep that stuff afloat.
Yeah.
And I think the more comfortable people get with knowing that they are going to have to know how to run a business as a creative, it's going to help them so much.
Yeah.
Well, where did you learn a lot of your business stuff from?
I like searched up YouTube videos of just like how to start like apparel business. Yeah.
YouTube.
YouTube.
YouTube has literally everything.
Yeah. And I would just like watch people be like how I started my sticker shop or yeah.
And then just kind of like based off of that, take little, like you said, like just take little things from there and just keep building and growing with it.
Yeah. And I think, like what I said earlier, like there's so many resources online now that things like,
Oh, hey Google, stop. Continue.
okay. Yeah. So, what was I saying?
There's so many things like little businesses and sticker shops online.
Oh yeah. And like, that information and like people's experiences are really like just like so available and ready and you can like learn from other people's mistakes and like I feel like learning to like start a business now is so much easier than it was
exponentially
like 5-10 years ago.
Oh yeah. So, and each day just more content about this stuff keeps coming out, you know. It's like every day there's probably like 5-10 if not more videos on how to start a business and what to do and, you know, the steps to get there, like better things and more efficient things that they've gone through themselves that could save you some time and headache.
Yeah.
And I think also the biggest thing is just start. Like just if you want to start something, just start. What was your first product that you started with?
My first product, it was actually the little like Jolly Beast shirt because that was actually part of the drawing that I did for like if Jollibee came out with like a streetwear brand. Yeah.
Dang.
And like a lot of people liked the shirt and that was something that I realistically could do. That's actually the first thing I started with.
That's so cool. You just had the idea, and then from there, like the whole business literally was created. That's awesome. Oh, cool. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? Anything else you want to touch on?
I'm like thinking.
We got to cover a lot of really cool stuff.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, this is really fun. I'm trying to think. I know. So I mean, we know about all your next steps, which are so freaking exciting. So, well, yeah, I mean, where else can people find you? Like if they want to follow your journey, if they want to buy some of your stuff, where can they find you?
Oh, I am Solicole on everything except for Twitter because I don't have it anymore. But I'm Solicole, SOLICOLE on Instagram and TikTok. And
nice.
Yeah, I think that's that's all my social media. And then solicole.co on also on Instagram, and then solicoleco.com is where you can find my shop.
And is there anything that they can go and immediately buy?
I have like some stickers in stock. I need to put some more in stock. And then keychains coming soon.
Yeah, those keychains are going to be clean. Again, I'm going to throw up the picture of the plushie right here. Yeah, and that's going to be a keychain. So that's going to be fire.
Oh, thanks.
Well, cool. Thanks so much for coming on. It was super fun.
Thanks.
And until the next episode, love yourself, be yourself, and create yourself. Peace. Hey,
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, how was it?
That was so fun. Right?